Hi everyone, welcome. Jai Mohanji. So this is Subhashri from London, and also I have Rekhaji from Chennai, from India. We both welcome you on behalf of the testimonials team from the Mohanji and I channel. So once again, this is Sunday, and wonderful day again because this day brings us more closer to Mohanji as we read some inspiring stories from Guru Leela. Like we say that the one of the profound way to connect or strengthen your connection to your guru is through the satcharitras, where you tell or narrate or even listen to stories of stories of grace, various experiences of your master. We know satcharitras, guru charitras have transformational power, have transformed millions of people's life. One of such book is Sai Satcharitra. And we know that how many people who are connected to Mohanji since years now have experienced, various different experiences. And we have tried to capture this, of course, in form of the electronic form in the blogs, testimonial blogs, but also in form of books. So since we started this program of Sunday readings, I think we started on Guru Leela 7. And now we thought of reading one book, one story from each book, and we will keep on going in the cycle rotation. So today is Guru Leela 4, that's right, Rekhaji?
Yeah,
And I'd like to show, first of all, the front page. Let me, okay, this book will not come. I will just share my screen with the photo. Here you go. I hope you can all see this beautiful photo. This is the front cover, front page of Guru Leela, Volume 4. And the subtitle of this book was Mohanji and I. So this book was published during Mohanji's birthday in 2021. So that was just after, the opening of COVID. Mohanji's birthday was celebrated in Turkey. A very limited number of people were there because it was the gatherings were still not very open. But on that day, we did publish or release this book. And this is such a beautiful, this picture that you see on the front cover is not a photo, it's actually a painting. And so we would start with reading the editor's pen from this book, which narrates about this story also. So I will read that one first. Okay. So this is Subhashri from London, and also I have Rekhaji from Chennai, from India. We both welcome you on behalf of the. Okay, just give me a minute. Pulling up the book. We love, whenever we are going through this editor's pen, it's actually so, because it brings back all our memory. Rekhaji, Shama from London, and I, we three work with from our heart. Actually, all the Guru Leela is from our heart. So when we work on this, when we write this editor's pen, and every time that we go back and read, it really brings back that memory. So let me present this to you today. Guru Leela 4. It has been 2 years since the first volume of Guru Leela came into the existence, bringing the pearls of experiences with Mohanji. Thinking back, it seems like a dream, how the idea was born, how Mohanji's grace and blessings helped the three of us to make this a reality, walking through this journey of Guru Leela series from volume 1 to volume 3. Starting with the scanning of almost 500 testimonials that were already published by then, compiling, editing, and proofreading, it felt as though we were living through all those experiences ourselves. Compilation of Guru Leela is not just an editing job. and not any ordinary book publishing task. Every moment of this journey is a huge transformation for ourselves too. Awareness, acceptance, surrender, faith, and ultimate conviction. Here we are again, very humbly presenting to you the fourth volume of Guru Leela, Mohanji and I. The words Guru Leela mean the divine play of the Guru, one spiritual master. This book series is about the spiritual master and his Leelas, his divine play as experienced by his followers. These are honest testimonials that reveal the unshakable faith, uncompromising consistency, and steadfast conviction of the spiritual seekers globally. Mohanji has said, a true guru gives experiences. He may not need words to deliver. Through silence, through a look or a glance, he can light the fire of awareness in a true disciple who is fully ripe and ready for liberation. Mohanji and I is a colorful palette of the various hues of Guru's grace, protection, and healing through experiences in both tangible and intangible ways. Where there are faith and surrender, the follower never leaves empty handed. The Guru always gives unconditionally, even if one is not aware of blessings received. The core of Mohanji and I is the deep connection of every follower with Mohanji. Every experience culminates in fulfillment of desires, enabling the seeker to walk the path of liberation. It takes the follower closer to the Guru on the outside who guides us to the divinity within. As we have seen through the numerous testimonials shared by followers, the unique connection that each follower has established with Mohanji, the relationship with the eternal master also becomes unique, incomparable, uncompromised, and most beautiful. For some, he is the rock-solid father. For some, the most compassionate, warm mother. For some others, he is the perfect guide, the best buddy for many, and the eternal lover with divine romance for many more. For most, he is a combination of all this and simply Mohanji. Whatever the shade is, he is always there with each and everyone. Mehuna, meaning I'm there for you, are the words that Mohanji says most casually, yet with the assurance and truth that brings 100% conviction for the follower. All you need to know is that Mohanji is not separate from you. Mohanji is not outside of you. Mohanji is not far from you. Mohanji is right inside you. Mohanji is with you. Mohanji is you. In every story and poem that you will read in this volume of Guru Leela, Mohanji and I, you will see exactly this. We can't compare, judge, or measure these stories, nor do we need any evidence to prove their authenticity. We respect the sincerity and truth in each writer's feelings, in expressing their story in their words, in their style, and in their authentic way. While compiling these stories, we were taken aback by the variety in which each one has experienced different dimensions of Mohanji. Our logical mind cannot simply comprehend this. The only thing we could do was surrender and accept each of these expressions as flowers of love, devotion, faith, and gratitude offered at the lotus feet of the Master. Then how can we judge, criticize, or reject this? We realized many stories were way above our analyzing mind matter. Then we closed our eyes, listened to our heartbeat, and we could feel the essence, the honesty, the purity, and the purest love. That's exactly what we would recommend to each one of you, dear readers. When your mind creates doubt or resistance, simply surrender. Look inside your heart, and you can feel the fragrance filling the air. Try it. Mohanji and I is special because of these sincere offerings of love from Mohanji's followers. Our immense gratitude to the authors for being a source of inspiration to help our future generations understand our eternal guide, protector, and friend, Mohanji. We hope all the readers feel the power of Mohanji's divine Leelas and his grace while reading these stories. After reading this book, please send your feedback to us, testimonials@mohanji.org. We extend our sincere gratitude to Mr. K.D. Rao for his honest sharing and the foreword about Mohanji. Our sincere thanks to all the artists for their deep love for Mohanji, which can be witnessed through their sketches and paintings that we have included in this book. Our deepest appreciation to the book presentation team. We share a few words on the heart-melting painting on the cover page. This is a sketch of a photo of Mohanji with Praveen Thakkar from London, taken during his Kailash pilgrimage in 2019. When we were thinking of how to show the uniqueness of Mohanji and I, from many options that we scanned through, this picture just touched our hearts immediately. The three of us literally shouted out, "Yes, this is the one." We reached out to our dear friend and a close follower of Mohanji, an extremely talented painter by profession, Andriana Ristorska, for sketching. The love and warmth behind this photo couldn't be hidden from the eyes of the artist. She was excited to do it. "Anything for Guruji," she said. We then came to know at that time Andriana was 8 months pregnant. We hesitated a little, not wanting to trouble her, especially since we didn't have a huge amount of time to complete the book. But Andriana didn't hesitate even for a moment. She took this up so excitedly and kept updating us as the painting progressed. Within 4 weeks, the painting was in our mailbox. Our jaws dropped. We couldn't keep this with ourselves. We had to show it to Mohanji. After all, it was Mohanji who made it happen. Mohanji appreciated the beauty, the attention to details, and moreover, the love with which it was done. Not just appreciation, Mohanji said something that made us realize how practical and how truly appreciative Mohanji is. He always respects and appreciates. Mohanji said, "This painting, the original one, must be auctioned, and Andriana must be rewarded for this." He truly valued this beyond what we could have even thought of. That's how Mohanji is. He never takes anything for granted, never demands anything, and never underestimates anything. When we see the humility with which he respects and appreciates the work and effort of people serving the mission, our heads bow down. A lot to learn from the simplicity of this extraordinary master who is walking with us. Coming back to the cover page design, we offer our loving gratitude to our dear brother Mohana Hanumatananda, who has been designing every cover page of Guru Leela. Designing is not the only skill he has. He answers tons of our naive questions, dealing with our rushed demands with his level headed coolness. He's the coolest brother in our Mohanji family, for sure. And then, how can we not mention Rajesh Kamath, the one and only Rajesh Kamath? Well, you haven't forgotten the Miraculous Days with Mohanji book, have you? We thank our comrade Rajesh for his funny way of picking on us. But truly, that was what we needed, the right guidance at the right time, bringing in just the right things. Thank you, Rajesh. We love you for what you are, Mohanji's dear Buddhu. Thank you, James Subramaniam, for the book layout, and our dear Sarathi Mama for the printing. His advice on printing has been the backbone in getting Guru Lila into the form that you see now. Easy to read, easy to carry, and uncompromised quality. After all, this is no ordinary book. This is Mohanji Satcharita, which will shine like the guiding star to many generations. With deep love and respect, we thank you, Mohanji, for being our inspiration and strength, guiding us every step of the way towards making this book a reality. Our heartfelt gratitude to you for walking with us to the eternity. With love, Rekha Murli, Shyama Jayaslan, and Subhashri. This is February 2021. This is the book, the back, and inside you will see many paintings, many sketches. Beautiful book indeed. I just wanted to share one thing which is not there in this editor's pen when we wrote. So basically, just before this book, when the printing came out, the day before that, Andriana actually gave birth to a daughter. So the book and the daughter both came out at the same time. So that was not a coincidence, but a divine grace for sure. So I hope this gives a little insight of the specialty. Every Guru Leela book is special, but this was immensely special. And I know Praveen Bhai, I don't know if you are watching us. He still keeps this original photo, the painting. He did get it, and to be honest, if I may share, the auction price he donated to the home for seniors in Arunachala. So this painting, original painting, is still at Praveen Bhai's living room, and he holds it very dearly in his heart. And we also hold this book very dearly in our heart. Okay, anyone wants to say something about this before we move on to a story from this book? And Rekhaji will read out that story. Anyone wants to share any comments? Okay, if not, Rekhaji, would you like to read? Which story would you like to pick up?
I'll read Life of Purpose. It's short and sweet, and then we can also, after that, discuss and share experiences from others also.
Sure.
Okay, so this is actually by Restito Oquendo from the Philippines. We call him Resti. Okay, so the title is A Life of Purpose, translated by Inigo Jesus Conlu. Mohanji always speaks about living a life of purpose, and he leaves no stone unturned to help his followers with this. This was how Mohanji reached out to Resti through a volunteer. Through miraculous ways, Resti was able to come out from a life in prison and lead a satisfying life by serving the world. So, in Resti's own words, when I was sentenced and sent to prison, I was terrified. In my first week there, I had to sleep on the floor. What made it worse was being next to a stinking bathroom where I could not sleep because everyone was passing by to get to the toilet. The only time I could rest and sleep was when all the inmates were already asleep. I can never forget that a cockroach bit me during my first few days, and I really suffered a lot. There was no one that I could ask for help. I got sick because of the heat and congestion, but nobody ever helped me. No one would take care of me inside the prison cell. I also suffered from separation anxiety, missing my wife and my son BJ. There was a group who used to visit us and sing prayers. When this group came and prayed, I could not control my tears as I felt remorse. When my son BJ visited, he told me that his best friend's Inigo, his best friend's name is Inigo, best friend's mother visits this prison monthly to feed the inmates and conduct yoga and meditation. I had no idea which group she belonged. So every time we had a visitor, I looked forward to meeting her. That's why I pushed myself to attend every program and participated in it. Then, in one visit, I finally recognized someone I knew, and she was Irene. She mentioned that a lady named V was looking for me. I later found out that she is the mother of Inigo. I was overwhelmed with shame knowing that V knew what I had done to my family, especially my son BJ. But she never saw me as a bad person, showing only kindness and a desire to really help. During our yoga and meditation sessions, my fellow inmates and I had the time to reflect and share happiness. It was as if all our discomforts, sufferings, and pains were put aside. We even forgot our problems in those moments. Since then, every last Monday of the month, I would look forward to the meditation group to come and have the session with us because it was not only me who was excited, but also my fellow inmates. What really made me change was when we gave me the responsibility to look after the free library placed inside the prison. This made me realize that people still value me and still show their love and respect. And as the days went by, I started to realize the difficulty of living with my family and peers' absence. But this made me look within, and I found myself learning how to pray and seek a closer relationship with Jesus. There were so many hindrances to all my hearings that I never saw as something negative, but used them to build and hope and strength. Then, in one of the group's visits, we introduced her meditation teacher to all of us. And she even left his picture with me when they left. Little did I know that the man in the picture would change my life forever. The man in the picture, as said by V, was miraculous Mohanji. V explained that Mohanji was not a god. She told me that Mohanji was a man who has given himself to help the world, bringing out the world's goodness and create changes through meditation, yoga, and selfless service. She said that Mohanji sends love, help, and guidance to those who seek. It made me curious, so I asked V more about Mohanji, and she would tell me that whenever I feel down with life, I could talk to Mohanji and ask for guidance because he always listens. Some of my inmates asked me about him, so I just shared with them who Mohanji was, as we explained. From that day on, I placed his picture beside Mama Mary and Jesus and started the practice of praying and silencing the mind. Every night, I would pray to Jesus and talk to Mohanji. I always asked for guidance and forgiveness and a second chance to renew my life. As the days, weeks, and months went by, I was still waiting for the dream of getting out of the prison, and despite the delays, I never lost hope. I also promised V that I would join a group to inspire others once I get out. As I practiced meditation, it made me calm and relaxed, removing all the discomforts felt inside. Sometimes I would fall asleep but be conscious in my body. I felt happier even in my situation. I also felt acceptance of my time there. I started feeling inner peace even on hot days or lonely nights inside the cell. It was already a year and a half, and it felt like that I had been there forever. Then, on one random day, the warden called me and asked me to come to his office. He informed me that my name was on the list of inmates who will have a hearing the next day. I was surprised to know this as I was not expecting this news at that time. On that hearing, I was finally allowed to be released and be under probation for using drugs. It felt like a miracle, but then I realized that the universe was working for me to have a new life. The chance that V's group gave me helped me to learn the values of self love and self worth. I realized that if others can see value in me, I could also do it. I now know that life should be lived with a purpose and not just wasting it with things that will be harmful to me and others. The day arrived when I was finally going to step out of prison. So many inmates were asking for my clothes and other belongings. I decided to leave everything with them except for my pillow and the picture of Mohanji. As I left the place, I hoped and prayed that my inmates would look at me as a symbol of hope for them. I am a free man now, The world outside welcomed me with a bright sunny day. My son had a big smile on his face as he welcomed me, waiting for me outside. Up to this day, I still talk to Mohanji as if he was there in front of me, always asking his guidance every day as I continue serving people through the Mohanji Philippines group led by we, of which I am now a part. Thank you. What a
That is,
beautiful story.
yeah. I may want to share something here. This was just before COVID, actually. This is end of 2019 when I visited to Philippines for some Acharya program. And Vivi, who was hosting me there, Chai and I both went, and we were there for about 5 days. So the first day when we went there and we started the Seva program, this man rest we saw this man who came, and he was, very calming, very humble person, and he was without speaking much. He was just, working silently, and you couldn't ignore him. You can see him, he's there, right there to do everything and all hard works. So after a couple of days, we also had a meditation that I was conducting and conscious dancing in the local jail, the prison. And that's when Vivi actually told me about this man, and he introduced. He said, this man that you were looking, he came from the prison, and then she narrated this whole story. After that, when we went to the prison, our experience from there was just so amazing, because when all these people were they look forward to Mohanji meditation that was happening regularly, we used to do before. And because we were there, especially, we also did a not full conscious dancing, of course, in a limited space, but a little bit of movement. But that brought so much. They were looking forward to this session that we were coming. So by the time we were waiting outside, we saw all of them were sitting in the benches, and so well behaved. You wouldn't know all these people are criminals serving some sentence in the prison. But they went through the process. They were all doing the meditation with so much of connection. And I understood that, of course, the story from Resti, that Resti was a source of inspiration from all these people. Somehow they all felt that what happened to Resti, he was freed from the prison 4 months ahead of time. And of course, all the kind of respect that he received, uh, people people realized that this was a miracle that was happening. Not everybody, of course, understood the miracle of Mohanji, but they knew they were witnessing the transformation of this man. And so everybody had a secret wish that probably the same thing will happen to them as well. So yeah, I mean, it was really heart touching, heart melting to see Resti. And when I saw him, there is no way that I would know that he was serving sentence for some criminal activity in the past. It wasn't long ago before I met him, actually, just maybe just few months before only he had been released. But there's nothing of criminal behavior in him at all. And that's the transformation that we're talking about. And you know what? At that point of time, when we went to Philippines, no one from the Philippines team had even met Mohanji. Even Vivi had also not met Mohanji. None of these volunteers, none of these children. The children were so connected to Mohanji, Philippines. And maybe another day I will talk the stories of Philippines. But the transformation of this man who is a criminal in the prison, he got transformed just by attending Mohanji's meditation, listening to it sincerely, and having the photo, connecting to him, speaking to him. He was speaking to him just like a friend. And that's the aspect that we are trying to bring out, that in whichever way you talk, it doesn't have to be chanting, it doesn't have to be, in a particular ritual. Your connection to your master is through your heart. And that's exactly what Resti, showcased. And his transformation was such a miracle. So when I requested Vivi to share this story, it's Vivi's son who actually translated from their language to English, and that's how we could include in this book. And I think this is one of such story that is so close to our hearts. When we see how Mohanji, people without even seeing him, have experienced this. So yeah, we wanted to share that with all of you. Okay, anyone would like to say anything, share your opinions or any comments on
In,
this
uh,
story?
in fact, Subhashi, I'd like to, there's yet another story similar to this one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just heard about it recently, and one of our fellow acharyas had helped this person, and he was in a country where the laws are very stringent, and he was imprisoned for no fault of his. And this acharya, she helped him in many ways, and in that is how he started connecting with Mohanji, and he came out, all charges dropped, and he was cleared, and he came out with all the help and blessings of Mohanji. And what has kept him going till today is faith and surrender. And the thing is, he has shifted out of that country and all that. In fact, I had a talk with him recently, and what I felt was, that connection. And it's not easy when you in a good space and then you're suddenly into prison and then you come out. Everything is just fallen apart. It's like a rebirth. You're starting afresh, and that's where Mohanji is holding his hand and taking him. That is the thing which really touched my heart. So very similar to Aristide's story, and
Yeah,
he's picking up his pieces and the picking up the pieces of his life, and he's moving on, starting afresh. So it's very beautiful to see the transformation. So there are many miraculous stories like this, and this is one or
yeah,
another story.
absolutely. Yeah, and I'm actually as soon as like he said, Vivi said that the day he came out from the prison, he straight went to Vivi and said, "I would like to help you in your seva activity." So he is a volunteer and acting as a doing in the seva. So yeah, okay. Do we have some more time for one more story? We have half an hour.
We have about 20-25 minutes.
Okay. Uh, let's read one story, one more short story. This is from Devdas. Let me bring out. Um, the Guru who liberates.
Yeah.
Okay. Just opening the story from reading from the PDF. Okay, so this is by none other than our Devdas. I think most people know Devdas. He is leading all Mohanji's activities in Kerala and been connected to Mohanji for quite some time. He was looking after Mohanji's parents at his Palakkad home. Very humble, very sweet, and personality. Okay, so this is a story that he shared with us from July 2019. This beautiful expression of grace and protection clearly shows the connection established by a master and his followers. Mohanji never lets down anyone who has trust and faith in him. This was evident in how he took care of Devadas and protected him from his family's wrongdoings. Mohanji not only takes care of the devotee, but also the entire lineage. So here is what Devadas narrates. Lord Shiva has said to Devi Parvati in Guru Gita, the sloka number 169. Um, so what it means is that blessed is the mother of a devoted disciple, blessed is the father, and blessed is the family and ancestry. O goddess, such devotion to Guru is very rare. When we connect to the Guru, Not just we, but our families, our lineage, ancestors, and even future generations are also come under the protection of Guru. I recently experienced this eternal truth through a painful situation in my life. This is a very personal matter, and in a normal scenario, I wouldn't have openly discussed it. However, when I realized how my Guru Mohanji's protection has worked, I felt it's no longer a personal matter to keep it to myself. I felt I must share with the world how powerful the connection with our Master can be. In his mid 50s, my only brother recently took a drastic action of committing suicide, leaving his young family behind. In our entire family or even known relatives, we have never had such an incident. We belong to a religious, ritualistic Hindu Brahmin family and are aware of how a soul goes through immense pain and stays bound when a person commits suicide. In the last many years, our whole family has been going through tremendous pain and incidents of drastic nature have been happening. Every such incident seems to bring our whole lineage down. Although a ritualistic Hindu by birth, after marriage, my brother converted to a different religion. Going through many ups and downs in his life, something made him take such a drastic step. With this incident, I was apprehensive about the pain that his soul would go through. I cried out to my Guru Mohanji. Anytime during any trouble, my heart first cries out to Mohanji. He has been protecting not only me, but my entire family too. During this particular time, Mohanji was not in India. In this condition, Anita, my wife's sister, who is also a Maitri practitioner, offered to give me a Maitri session. The Maitri session was immensely powerful. It was as if Mohanji himself came and gave me a message. Anita had a clear vision of Mohanji and Kailash during the session and vividly saw how Mohanji was protecting me. She also received a message that I must speak to Devi Amma. After the Maitri session, when she conveyed this to me, I was speechless. I understood that this was a direct command from Mohanji. I must tell you that Mohanji loves and respects Devi Amma a lot. Devi Amma considers Mohanji as her spiritual brother. Hence, without further delay, I called up Devi Amma in Bangalore and narrated my brother's incident to her. Devi Amma assured me that she will ask Appa, Agastya Rishi, and let me know. A couple of days later, Devi Amma conveyed an important message. This message left me awestruck. She said that Rishi Agastya sent her a clear message that my brother's soul has very smoothly crossed over to the other side. He had conveyed that this was only possible because of a connection to higher master. Devi Amma explained to me then in simple terms that my connection with Mohanji has ensured the grace and protection of the Guru for my family and relatives, including my brother. This is why even though the soul had left through a drastic step such as suicide, instead of wandering and suffering, my Guru had enabled the soul to cross the boundaries and set it free from its bindings. These words may seem unbelievable, but I had no doubt about this truth as a living master like Devi Amma authenticated this. She revealed the truth about the power of this wonderful connection to my Guru and how this connection can pull the whole lineage out of any ditch. Then I was reminded of another important incident. This was regarding my father. Though he was a born Hindu Brahmin, he was an atheist and he did not understand the Guru Tattva, the Guru principle. My father sold the land with a century-old Naga temple, the temple for the divine serpent, to a non-Hindu person who demolished it. I was worried about this mishap and the repercussions this incident could bring to our whole family. I had not met Mohanji at that time. Maybe it was the Guru Mandala's grace working. I was inspired to build a Naga temple on one of my lands. This was my way of penance for the mistake that my father did. Those were the days when my wife and I desperately prayed for Lord Krishna to come to our family as a child. Well, Krishna didn't come as a child, but he came in the form of Mohanji. My guru appeared in my life. After Mohanji accepted me and blessed me, he also blessed my whole family and lineage. It was evident that Mohanji ensured a very smooth, literally pain-free exit for my father during his last moments. Even though he was not a follower of Mohanji and was unaware of protection he received from my guru, he had a very smooth exit. My brother's case was yet another proof of the master's protection for the entire family and lineage. Not only this, when Mohanji returned to India, one day at his Bangalore home, during a discussion with other devotees on this incident, he had said, I am looking after Devadas very dearly. He and his family have been suffering for lifetimes. This lifetime, I will ensure that suffering is not repeated anymore. He and the entire lineage are being taken care of. My friend and Mohanji Acharya Kishore conveyed this message to me. I had no words to express my gratitude to my Guru Mohanji. My tears knew no boundaries. I'm so thankful to the tradition for allowing me to meet my eternal master, Mohanji, in this life and guiding me towards liberation. Thank you, Mohanji. Koti koti pranams at your feet. With my heart full of devotion, I offered the following poem at my Guru's feet. It's a beautiful poem, actually, that Devadas ji has written, and it has been sung. I will see if I can find out. We'll play this. So I leave with that. We end with this reading here. But it really brought tears to me to feel and experience what he has written. Actually, I personally have experienced the same, Guru's protection and grace to the whole family, even if they are not connected to Mohanji, physically. So, and the way that Mohanji said about that he is taking care of Devdas and his family so dearly that in this lifetime, no more suffering. It's so, there are really no words. No words. Any of you who are listening to the stories, if you have any such experience and stories that you want to share, please do share. Either you can speak now or you can put in comments or you can email to us, testimonials@mohanji.org. These stories are really pearls of, these are nuggets of pearls that will enlighten many people's life coming even in future generations. Thank you, Devadas. Thank you for sharing. And thank you, Vivi. Thank you, Resti. All your stories, I don't know, they're not listening here now, but our deepest gratitude for sharing their, personal stories. Okay. The floor is open to anybody who wants to comment, share anything at all. If not, I'll
I
comment.
found it, Subhashri, I found it interesting that it clears the lineage of the family, and I wasn't aware of that. So,
does.
that's really interesting.
Yes. So
And
actually,
I'll share a story,
yes,
a recent one.
yeah.
So, my thinking is that it's connected, but I'm not 100% sure on the dates, but I feel it's connected. So in the summertime, I went to Scotland and we did the coconut offering, and Mohanji does the pujas and everything. And I did it for the ancestral cleaning of the ancestral line. And so one of the things that I noticed at the time when I came back, well, not straight away when I came back, but just, within 1-2 weeks after, my nephew, who'd been seeking a job after having a long-term illness for several years, got a job
Wow.
in his profession, and he started this week, just gone. So I'm waiting to observe if he manages to sustain it, because obviously he's changed and it's a high-powered job that he
Yeah.
used to be in. So I'm watching that space, and then I'll be able to comment more. But I feel that it was related to the lineage and the clearing and doing the coconut offering at the time in Scotland. So I'd just like to share that.
Thank you. I mean, absolutely, your understanding is definitely correct, Hilary. And thank you for sharing. There are many more people who have experienced this clearance that happens, and also Mohanji himself says it that when you connect it to Guru, he takes care of the entire family, the current family, the ancestors before you, and even the generations coming. So that's how it's not that your family needs to be connected. But of course, this connection to Guru to receive a grace that protects your entire lineage, of course, needs that kind of faith and conviction, not full of with doubt or transactional connection. But I mean, maybe for another day I will leave this story. But I myself have experienced the same thing. What Devadas has written, very similar. How I received the grace of Mohanji. My family members have received who are not connected to Mohanji, but
Yeah.
they have received as well. So many people have experienced such grace.
I'll
Beautiful.
share one other thing connected to the lineage.
Mhm.
So after the London event, so I went to London as well.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what date that was actually. Can you remember,
22nd June.
of June?
23rd June, yeah. 23rd June.
23rd of June was the
Yeah.
London programme.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that week, no, it must have been before then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it must have been before, but I ended up cleaning a 100-year-old grave of
Mm-hmm.
my father's grandfather, who I
Wow.
wasn't aware of. I wasn't aware it was his grave until Christmas time last year. And
Oh,
it's just a few graves away from my parents. And because it's
uh-huh.
so old, it was really dirty. But my father had renovated it many years ago,
Mm-hmm.
like 35 years ago. But time and weather has an effect on gravestones, because we have gravestones in the tradition, in the old tradition. Now they've moved more towards, yeah. So anyway, I cleaned the gravestone and renovated it all of my father's grandfather. And so that's also connected to the lineage. That's
Mm-hmm.
how I look at it anyway. And a clearing and a respecting, honouring,
Yeah,
and yeah, and bringing back the memory of them, which
definitely.
I was unaware of until, last winter, actually. Okay, that's me done. No more talking.
Thank you, Hilary. Thank you. Thank you so much. So you're talking about the program with Mohanji in London last year. It was end of May. Yeah.
End of May this year in London.
Uh-huh.
Was end of May. Right. So I did the grave clearing immediately after, because I couldn't remember the dates. That's why I asked you,
No
because I've been
problem.
doing so many things. But I cleared the grave started the project on, I think it was 11 or 12 of June, which
Hmm.
was like 1 week later after the program.
Right.
Like,
So, no,
and that,
actually, it's your understanding is right, because Mohanji gives a lot of importance to respect to our ancestors. In fact, if you notice what is coming up now, there this powerful 2 weeks coming very soon, from starting from next week, what we call as the Pitru Paksha. These are two powerful weeks when we carry out certain rituals to offer respect to our lineage, to our ancestors who have passed on. And that way, two things happens. One is that if they have any unfulfilled wishes, or if they are stuck for some reason, they receive that salvation, they receive that peace. Plus, we also receive the people who perform that rituals, they also receive the blessings of those ancestors. So Mohanji gives a lot of importance to respecting ancestors and performing this ritual. So that's what we call as Pitru Paksha, which is starting very soon. So in your own tradition, what you did is of course offering the respect to your father's grandfather and whatever you did. So yeah, amazing. Thank you for sharing with us.
And
Really.
only this morning did I read the message that you sent out about the clearing in India also.
Yeah, that's the what I'm talking about.
So like I'm thinking about it. Is Mohanji going to be there in India at that time, or do other people do it?
No, Mohanji is not going to be there. So this happens in certain power centers in India, different places. So there are, special priests who perform these rituals. And of course, one of Guru Light team would always be there to coordinate. But all this is happening with Mohanji's guidance, his blessings, and he like everything else, he does everything remotely. But he's there very much present without his presence. So yeah, yeah.
Okay, it's very useful to know, and I will now consider this also in my mind.
Sure.
I just
Thank
read it this morning. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share anything or ask any questions? If not, we can close the call here today. Thank you for being here, and thank you all people who are watching on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Please do message. Alankrit, you unmuted. You want to say something?
I just wanted to thank you for the session.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone.
Bye
Jai
bye.
Sri. Bye-bye. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you.